I picked this quad up, I want to say 2 or 3 months ago, or maybe longer than that. But once I picked it up, I kind of just brought it here and left it in my shed and haven't even touched it because I had other things that I was working on. But this is a 2007 Yamaha YFZ 450. You know, it's got all the spider webs on it and dust on it, like it's been sitting. And you can see that it is twist throttle and the grips are not looking the best. Looks like he has like wire wrapped around the throttle, or wrapped around the grip to hold it in place maybe, so it doesn't slide off. Not sure, but that's pretty much on both sides. It's got the Nerf bars. It's got the huge pipe on it. Don't even know what brand that is. The emblem is pretty much just faded off, but it's super huge. Like, I never had one on a 450 like quite that big. But so I got this thing for a pretty good deal. Not sure if it's worth it or not, but I would say it's pretty worth it, you know, for the price I got it at. So the story is it was his son's, but his son's friend took it for a ride and ended up flipping the quad. So he ended up replacing some of the parts on it. You see it's got new tire rods on both sides. And you can see it's got a bend right there in the lower A-arm. And then it all seems pretty straight, besides the A-arm there, and the bumper is a little bit tweaked, but it's not really like shifted to the left or right. And the steering stem isn't all bent, but it's missing the cushion here, and the headlights are missing, which looks like they got broken off in the roll. You see some of it's like still there, but all the connections and stuff is still there, and the mounting. So I am gonna get new headlights for it. Some of the mounting for the plastics are broke, and then up here looks like it's got chewed up or something, but it's not like aligned right, or it's missing the clips for it to screw on. But it's got pretty much brand new front tires. The rear tires still have pretty good tread on them. I think he said he replaced the axle too. I don't know if that's what brand axle that is, but that's a new axle he was telling me. I think he put a new sprocket and chain back when that happened, but the chain is pretty much shot already. You see some of the O-rings are coming out of there. And it looks like he put this part on there. It's like the chain sprocket kind of saver there. It's got the Alba Racing block-off plate for the parking brake. And it's all been deleted up here. You know, there's no lever, so that kind of cleans it up. Looks like it's the ODI grips on it, but I am probably gonna replace that because that doesn't look that good to me, and it's all dirty and probably stained. So I'm trying to remember what else he put on it or what he did to it. It does have the Athena cylinder that he got rebuilt. I'm not sure if it's big bore. I don't think he was telling me it was big bore, but you never know. I think it was the previous owner that maybe did that. I kind of forget what he was telling me about it. It's also got the Tusk off-road grab bar for the rear. That was kind of new. It's missing the tail light, but it still has the bracket there to hold it in place, so that's good. What else? Plastics are a little faded. You know, I can heat gun that up and bring it back. It's still kind of shiny in some areas, so probably won't heat gun the whole thing, maybe just like where it's faded. It's missing the left side heel guard, the cover there. You see the brackets broken off here, probably within that roll. So I'm gonna have to order up a new bracket and the plastic heel guard there. What else? I need to be buttoned up a little bit better. Kind of forget what else it's telling me, other than like, there's a little rip in the seat there, but it's not that bad. I don't think it's enough for me to even replace it at this point. I might just wait till it gets even worse. So, just pop the seat cover off. It's got the open air box. Looks like it has a decently new solenoid for the starter. K&N style with a pre-filter. And the adapter for the air box. So that's all intact. Missing a few clips up here. Missing a battery bracket, but that's not a biggie. I think it did the carrier bearing too. Not sure how new it is, but I think he was saying they did the carrier bearing. It's not shot right now, but maybe it was before then. He was kind of saying that it leaked a little bit of coolant out the neck up here, but when I was there test driving and stuff, I didn't see a drip. So we will have to check the coolant level as well as the oil level. You can't check the oil level on these without running the quad, so it'll circulate. So it's not going to show right now. I gotta get it running. But this thing was running whenever I test drove it. Only thing I didn't like about it was this twist throttle. It's kind of like for like racing. You know, it's not my style. I'm more like an off-road. So we'll probably get that switched out here. I think the cable just comes out of there and then should be able to hook it right up. But the Tours and all that's still hooked up. It's got the OEM carburetor, so that's good. It ran pretty good whenever I test drove it. It had pretty good power. It's just the twist throttle, like I said, I don't like that. So I guess the first thing I want to do is kind of just probably put my finger in the radiator cap here, see if it's even low. Ooh, look pretty low. Yeah, I'm not grabbing anything on my finger. So it's probably leaking out of somewhere. That's not good. Wasn't smoking or anything. So we're gonna have to check that out, see where that leak's at, because it should be full. There we go. So that's back on. I can still run it, just not for too long so I don't overheat. But you can see it's all there. Hope it's not leaking oil or anything because there's kind of buildup on the bottom. I'm gonna have to power wash that off and see if it leaks anymore after a while of riding it. But you see all the stress marks of sun fade. He's gonna bring that right out. So all the rubbing here kind of is a good indication that it probably has a lot of hours from like riding boots and other things like that. So it's a good thing it does have the Athena, so we know it's been rebuilt at some point, but we just don't know when. And it's got the K-Saver on there too. Is that Alba Racing? Yeah, Alba Racing. So I guess what I'm gonna do first is see if it'll crank over from it sitting within a couple months. Should crank over no problem. It's not like it's been sitting for like a year or two. So it started up pretty good. Just had it's cold, carbureted. Had to hit the accelerator pump a couple times, but it started up and run good. I just want to check the oil level before I keep running it more. Yeah. It's a little dark. Could change it out just for safety measures. Yeah. So it's a little dark. Doesn't smell of gas or anything, but wouldn't hurt to change it out. See if I see any leaks. I don't see it dripping from there, nor from the water pump. So we're running a little more. I guess the first thing I'm gonna do is probably get these front plastics off and make sure we're full, or put more coolant in there, just to make sure. Still not see no drip on that coolant neck. That's all looking good there. Oil's not milky, just kind of dark. So let's go ahead and take these plastics off. Got the front plastics off. Got the coolant cap off so we can see it. It was actually super low, dude. Like probably like half of this or more. Not even gonna lie. So it's definitely probably leaking out of somewhere. We just don't know where. So I guess I'll run it again, see if it starts puking out or starts freaking eating it. Keep running it, see what happens. starting to think that this thing has a blown head gasket, because I got a lot of bubbles coming out of here, like pressure's coming from the coolant, which is not a good sign. And I am seeing some puffs of smoke out the tailpipe as I crank it. I really smell that sweet though, like it's coolant. But not a good sign. I think what I'm probably gonna do is I don't know why I didn't smoke before that, but it seems like put coolant in there. Maybe it's coolant's getting inside the head and causing the spark to not be the best. So might need rebuilt. I was not wanting to do that on this quad. Oh wait, that's not really pushed on all the way. We'll see what that does. Not sure if that'll do anything. Alright, so I put a new spark plug in. That's the old one. New one is somewhere right here. So every time I take that spark plug out and I crank it, it starts shooting fluid out. And you know, I noticed the bubbles in the coolant and the radiator, and it's completely empty, and a little bit of the smoking from the tailpipe. That pretty much indicates to me that it does have probably a blown head gasket. Also, I cleaned this up pretty dry, and I cranked it without the spark plug in. I put this by the spark plug hole, and the coolant I put in was yellow. You can see. Put a focus like right there, that speck right there. That's coolant right there. And it just looks wet in there. You can't really see it, but it's pretty wet. So, pretty sure it's stained blue head gasket, and it probably got hot. You know, probably that's probably the reason why he hooked up that straight to the ignition, the fans. So, like it run good, but I think the coolant is just fouling it out, or the compression is just, it's losing compression and going into the coolant. But I'm gonna stick a battery charger on it, because after me cranking it for a while, that battery is getting low. So I don't know why I wasn't doing this when I was test driving it. That always happens. I can just look down there, I can see like little water droplets. You can't see it, but I can. So I'll hook up a battery charger on it, or a jumper, and I'm probably gonna do a compression test just to see what it says. We're gonna crank it and see if we see fluid shooting out the spark plug hole. I can see it just right here along the rim. Definitely doesn't smell like gas, I'll tell you that. And it's all yellow. So, yep, it's gonna be probably a top end on this thing. I forgot to mention how much I got it for too. I think I got it for like 1,400 bucks. 1,400 bucks, forget how much it was, but you know, you pay for a cheap quad, you know, you run the risk of having to rebuild it. So that's a good thing I got it for that low. The guy kind of didn't hesitate whenever I offered him that price. It seemed like he just wanted to get rid of it, like he knew what was going on with it. And maybe he didn't have, maybe he like kind of drained the coolant out a little bit, or all leaked out, and it just wasn't getting into the cylinder and causing it to bog and smoke and stuff like that. Because when I rode it, it rode pretty decent, you know. But that's definitely head gasket, you know, with the bubbles and the smoke trying to crank. You know, it'll run good, and then it'll just randomly bog, which I'm sure that's probably losing compression, one, and coolant is just leaking into the cylinder too. So that is no bueno. So you run the risk. I'm assuming his fans didn't kick on and it just overheated. But I'm probably gonna go with OEM. I think it's 98 millimeter cylinder and top end kit. We're gonna do the valve seals and everything just while we're at it. It comes with the whole thing. So we're gonna do all that. And yeah, I think it is probably jetted pretty decent. But with the boggy like that, I can't get it to stay running. So just for shits and giggles, I'm probably just gonna run a compression test and see what that even says. All right, got the compression tester hooked up. We're gonna see how much compression that it has. This is without oil in the cylinder. You know, we're gonna do full throttle and crank it, see what it does. Just tight, yeah. Not even 25 PSI. What is that? Like 20 PSI? That is not good. I don't even know how it starts, but yeah. We're gonna throw oil down the cylinder, see if it boosts up. If it does, it's most likely gonna be rings as well. See if this is wet at the end of this. Yeah, it's all wet too. It's like yellow, which is the color of the coolant. Yep, that's gonna freaking do it. Oh shit. Try it again. Jumped up a little bit, not quite all the way I want to. Yeah, it's just going down lower and lower. Not looking good. Yeah, every time I crank it, it just every time I crank it, just goes lower and lower. So looks like head gasket and rings. Yeah, covered in oil, so that should definitely been enough to seal the rings up. But we're under 50 PSI. This does have the auto decompression mechanism, which I think is supposed to be still like around 100 or so, and we're not even at 50. So not looking good. I'm gonna probably take the valve cover off and see what it looks like under there. Check the cams and everything. Maybe see what the valve specs are at. It all looks pretty good. Cam lobes are nice and smooth. No scoring or anything. We're right in time. See the hole there and a hole down there on the exhaust cam. Want to be at the 9 o'clock and about the 11 o'clock for those two dots. And then same with the intake one. You can see the dot there and dot up there. And you know you're on compression stroke whenever you got the cam lobes facing the opposite way of each other. And your cylinder's right at the top of the head. You can see it right in there shining up. But exhaust cam clearances were good. They're like 23 or 2320 or something like that. And then the intake clearances were like a little bit under the spec, but that's still not going to cause coolant from spewing out the spark plug hole and getting the spark plug wet. It's still not going to cause the problem of the bubbling radiator and the smoke coming out the tailpipe. So I'm just going to save the work and wait to get the top end. And I'm not going to tear apart the top end just yet because I still got to wait for that to come in. And I don't want dirt or anything to get inside there while I'm waiting for like a week or two. So I'm gonna leave that all together. I'm just gonna buy probably just a whole new cylinder, all new piston, all new valve seals. Hopefully the head is good. We gotta check that too before we put it back together. But like I said, I don't want to take it apart. You know what? I'm probably just gonna rebuild it right now or tear it apart. Let's fucking do it. So got the carb out. The accelerator pump was working. It's not squirting a good stream, like it's not angled right or something. Oh, there it goes. Well, it's working, but after we rebuild it, we'll look at this too. Now I'm gonna take the coolant lines off and on both the exhaust head are off. So we get that all loose. And then we'll take the cams, we'll loosen up the chain tensioner, take the chain off, get the cams off, and we should be able to get to the head bolts, and then the rest of it should come off pretty easily. My phone is overheating, so I can't really record it. I'll just do like little clips of it. Got the cylinder out and head and everything finally. You know, it honestly looks pretty good. The crank feels good, little side to side, zero up and down. 07s and 08s is where they started to have the oil squirt mod. You can see it there sticking out. It squirts the crank so the crank don't get hot. And I think the 04s, 05, and 06s do not have that. I think they started out with the 07s, but the crank looks good. Honestly, the piston looks pretty good, but you know, when I put oil in the cylinder, it shot up a little bit, so that's another indication that the rings are bad. So go with all new piston, all new cylinder. I measured out the cylinder and it is 95 millimeter, which that is stock. But look inside there, it's a little up and down marks, but it ain't bad at all. Like, I might be able to reuse this, but I don't really feel like I should. Maybe, not sure. But usually I just go with the all new, brand new kit from Wisco. But also the head, they're scoring all in the cam journals. The exhaust was good. There's only one cam journal there, but well, also there's a little bit of scoring on that one, but mainly the intake one was pretty bad. When I took the tensioner off and tried to remove it, it was stuck on there and ended up, well, it was kind of seized up whenever I got it off. So the journals are probably out of round and scored itself out of circle. So that's not going to run smoothly or spin smoothly when I put it back in. So it looks like I'm looking at a new head and cylinder and piston kit, which the head is totally separate from a piston kit. Cylinder, it's like a cylinder and piston and all new gaskets. That whole kit is like $500, $500-600. And if you want the whole head with cam journals and cams and valves and everything like that, that's another like $800, $900. So that's easily almost $2,000, $1,500 on top of the $1,400 that I paid for this quad. You know, it's still under $3K, but that's way more than what I was wanting to, way more than what I was wanting to spend. So my buddy does have a brand new top head on it. It might give me a good deal on that. So I'm gonna see if I can get a good price on that. And then I already found the top end for the cylinder and everything like that. Like I said, it's like $500 from Wisco, 95mm stock bore. There was coolant all on top of the cylinder or piston whenever I took it off, so that's pretty bad too. Also, the front cam chain slide was broken right there. That was stuck in the cylinder right here. That's the other part there that broke. Checking out the cylinder, looks pretty decent. I'm not seeing a bunch of cross hatching in it, but you can kind of see some vertical lines. But I was noticing this right here. It looks almost cracked right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with a new cylinder and all that. So I was kind of questioning if I should reuse this or Scotch-Brite it, but now it kind of confirms I'm gonna go with the new one. Way more money than what I was thinking, but I'm glad I got it for $1,400. This thing did not come with the title, but the VIN is good. So I guess I'm putting more money into it, playing the wing game, and maybe about a week or two, I might have a video of this, bringing it back to life. I still gotta order headlights and everything else, and it's all gonna add up pretty quickly. I want to say roughly $2,000. $1,800, $2,000. That's actually $3,000, maybe more for the whole quad. So might end up breaking even on it, but at least I got a quad back and running. That's a bummer, but we'll try to spend as much, at least as I can spend on it, and go from there. But I'm pretty much gonna clean up now, get everything back suited up, and put back on the quad to where I can just push it back and wait and not lose any parts. So it really sucks, but it is what it is. Kind of comes with buying a cheap quad, and you kind of get what you paid for. Sometimes you can get a good deal, sometimes you don't. So at least the bottom end was good. I guess it could have been worse.